I immediately see the chemistry between you three. Is it a very loose writing process when you come up with stuff? Is it a bunch of you guys kind of taking a germ and then going with it on air? Or do you try to make sure you have things kind of written more meticulously before going on air with them?
I think as we write
yeah.
When we're writing it together, we're just throwing shit out there. We're just throwing stuff together. All of a sudden, stuff starts coming together. It's like, man, we got to put this on paper because we say so many things that we forget about, when you're just in the creative process. You don't want to lose that thing. So once we start sitting down and start figuring out what we want, then we plan it out. We're like, man, this is funny. So that by the time we get to the tapings, it's time to put what we know is funny to air. And then when we're there, we might see one little thing and it's like, oh, whoa, please, more of that. And then we just go with it,
I feel like it's more of like we come up with like a scriptment, kind of.
Yeah.
Basically, we kind of, we leave it loose enough that we can improv stuff because we're also working with like a bunch of talent that are going to have ideas too, right? So like we want to be able to have the talent, plug in whatever they feel might, say it this way or however. So it's nothing too like tight. We try to keep it, a little loose. And then, but the writing process, I mean, a lot of stuff comes straight from the big man Gallows, I would say. He's kind of the main one. And then, Carl and I will kind of start, take all that craziness a little bit and kind of like edit it a little bit. And I think, and then I'll come up with like a process of like maybe how we can film it in a really cool way or, just to make it look visually cool. And then I think our final editor is probably Carl, and the fact that he'll say like, I don't know if that is that funny as we think it is, maybe to us we do, but I don't know if the rest of the world is going to think it's funny. But it's kind of talking shop. Yeah.
A lot of it starts as a text message. Hey, would it be funny if this or this might be funny? And then we finish a podcast and we're having drinks and we're on a Zoom and we keep talking. And then, we get some shit on paper and then it comes to life from there. So it takes all three of us to get to the final product, good, bad, or indifferent.
Clearly people think it's really funny because it looks like it's doing pretty well given the fact that you're now already on your second Talking Shop of Mania. You had the TV special, the full keg. So what has the response been for you guys in terms of Talking Shop and how it's connected?
It's been great, man. It's all a bunch of co-branded stuff under this umbrella that we kind of created out of this pandemic or revived. And it's been a lot of fun getting it all done. But that was the first inclination that we did something that was pretty good. It wasn't just funny to us, was the initial Twitter response. And then when we started hearing that we actually did a little buy rate on it, a pretty damn good buy rate, we were like, oh, wow, we're onto something here. And then people kept asking for Talking Shop of Mania 2. And then people turned into a week later, the pay-per-view company's going, all right, what date do you guys want? We're going, whoa, holy hell. And then I had to go back to the drawing board once again and start talking these guys into doing it all over again because it was so much work on the first one.
I just didn't understand the first concept when he first called us with it. Hey man, we just got fired, right? He calls me 5 minutes later and I was like, nah, I ain't answering that. I ain't talking to nobody. Then, an hour later, he calls us and he starts pitching this idea about running a pay-per-view. I mean, we just left our high-paying job just an hour ago, and he starts talking about this idea, and I was like, man, what is he talking about, man? But then now you see with like, I mean, because if there was no coronavirus or COVID or whatever we want to call this, if that didn't happen, this never would have happened. So like I feel because we would still be where we were. Rock would still be doing his thing, would never be home this amount of time. We would never have this opportunity to even talk to each other as much as we have. So, yeah. I mean, out of all this insanity, a weird blessing has happened. And like that blessing is Talking Shop of Mania where it's ball versus ball main event.
Hell yeah.
I guess that's a blessing.
You can never take your foot off the pedal, man. So I just wanted us to keep looking forward and instead of looking back, and it turned out great. And we hope that everybody joins us November 13th at 10 p.m. on pay-per-view and on the Fight app on iPay-per-view and tunes into Talking Shop of Mania 2. This one is # worse than the first, guaranteed.
Wow. Guaranteed. Heard it here first. Do you agree with that, Rocky? Do you think it's going to be worse than the first? Do you think you're going to reach that low of a bar?
This is the secret, I think, to our marketing is it's easy to say worse than the first. It's easy to say like the worst pay-per-view ever. And to be honest, there's some parts that are really, really, really terrible, like bad.
Oh yeah.
Like you are questioning yourself, like, why did I pay this? But it's all fun. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's meant to be so bad that it's good, right? So but on top of that, I mean, the truth is we had a budget, right? I kind of broke the budget because they
kind of. You exploded the budget.
They gave me free reign to shoot a segment of Talking Shop in Los Angeles. So it's actually in 2 locations this time. It's in Atlanta at the at Big Hoots Palatial Estate, and then it's also from Los Angeles, California. And I was in charge of the LA shoot, and these guys were like, "Oh, just do what you have to do to make it good, or whatever." So I did, and I hired stunt people. I hired FX people, visual effects people, a whole crew, and I kind of basically spent all the money that we had.
Yeah, masseuse,
we're in the red.
a cryogenic chamber.
You had a chiropractor.
Personal PAs for everybody on set. I mean, the list goes on and on. Craft services. Craft services was $100,000. It's insanity, man.
Yeah, legit broke the bank. So we're really hoping that people buy this. Basically, the whole Talking Shop company is about to go under.
You just told me just so I can keep you guys in business so you can keep making this funny stuff, all right? You got $14.99 from this guy, all right? I promise.
We good.
You're the man. You're the man. That's one down. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Chavo versus Chico, for real. There's gunshots. There's like somebody die. A couple people die. I mean, there's a bazooka shot, and like there's like a Matrix ducking. I mean, it's Matrix Reloaded inside this. It's crazy.
It's such a cinematic gem that it's almost too good to be part of the Talking Shop world, because I watched it and I went, holy shit, that was awesome. And that's not the reaction we're going for.
Have you guys ever had other things that you've actually pulled from Talking Shop thinking like, let's just repurpose this for something else?
I think it's all ongoing and it all fits together. And a big thing about us is we revisit stuff. Like the original podcast we were doing in Japan that had a fraction of the listeners we have now. One of the main characters you'll see at Talking Shop Mania 2, the Torturer, was born in Japan in 2014 or 15. So a lot of people might not get him. So we took some time to explain kind of what that is. And man, it is out there. It is TVMA. If you're a beer drinker, have a lot of them. You just be prepared for this guy, man.
Yeah. Smoke some CBD oil. Do whatever you got to. It ain't rated PG. It ain't PG-13.
No.
It is very, very rated R. So just make sure the kids get put to sleep, and then let's have adult night.
It's Adult Swim on steroids for sure.
It really is. Yeah.
Now, I love you guys.
It's like HBO when you stay up late at night as a kid, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, ain't nobody around."
I'm not supposed to be watching this.
There we go. What's up on this?
Scramble. That was the best.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You guys' vision is so good. You're also business-minded, and I love how you've kind of taken the bull by the horns and created this business where you're now selling merch, you're selling beer, and Rocky, I know you make beats on the side and whatnot. So I wanted to get your guys' feelings as legit independent contractors of, your former employers kind of clamping down on Twitch streams and whatnot. How do you guys feel, given your mindset when it comes to professional wrestling?
Man, I'll speak on that first. They have to do what they do over there because of the way that business model works. I will say this, that I'll let the guys speak on it too, of course, but I think we're all three very happy to work in companies and for and with people who are all about co-branding, about our personal brands growing, and them knowing the fact that as we grow as individual brands or a group brand like what Talking Shop is, there's a positive effect for the companies that we work for. It's almost like they're like Impact is a parent company of us in a way, because they're so supportive of all of our outside ventures. I mean, putting up commercials for these Talking Shop Mania pay-per-views, letting us, push our new brands of alcohol and stuff on their television show every week. But I mean, the bigger we get and the bigger we are, the better it is for them as a brand as well. So it's kind of, it's great to wear their hat and them wear our hat. And it's, it's co-branding. There's a lot of entrepreneurship that's come out of this pandemic and a lot of platforms of entertainment. And I think that we were lucky enough to kind of strike lightning in a bottle with that and have great people on our side. And it creates a great team atmosphere. And, we hope to be doing a hell of a lot more of this stuff. It's very exciting. And it's a lot more fun than we've ever had, I'd say, in our careers.
Yeah.
I think being a creative with different interests, besides wrestling, I think it's important to have, like, you said, talked about the beats and the music making and, and gaming and other things that I enjoy. I think it's important to be able to explore those things. And just because you work for a company who's so big that, yeah, I understand that they want to, monetize you as an individual, but I think it's also important for that individual to build a brand under that, and a strong brand that will follow into the wrestling and continue to support the wrestling, because that's one part of it, right? You want to build a brand that will support not only the wrestling part, but also the music part, or the gaming part, or whatever it may, YouTube or whatever it may be. And also it'll attract new fans, hopefully, and that will bring to the main brand, if that's the wrestling organization or whatever. So and I think that as a wrestler and as a creator, you shouldn't be stifled in the way to monetize it. I don't think that makes any sense, because monetizing is important to be able to expand what you're doing, right? It'll give you a bigger budget to, like, for example, with music, if I sell X amount of, albums, I now have a bigger pool to make a better album the next time around, that'll hopefully increase all this. So I think that that's the important part that I think, WWE is missing when they go and they're kind of stopping these people's brands, and they need to figure out a better system of how to work with the individual, and whether it's a managerial fee, which seems like that could be a very fair instance, or an agency fee. I mean, why not, as opposed to just stopping it dead cold and the way that they have,
We signed a pretty big contract, right? And we were gonna make a lot of money. And I remember thinking a couple of times this last year, it was like, we thought that it sounds crazy. You think if you make a lot of money, you're gonna be happy. And I always thought, hell yeah, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna of course be happy if I'm making this kind of money. But then there would be times if something wasn't going right, or we're on the road this amount of time or whatever, but sitting there going like, yo, like, this sucks. And you think you can sit through a whole show the whole night on a Monday Night Raw and wait until 11:30 p.m. and then just go back to the hotel when you're doing nothing. You think you're making a lot of money. You can sit there and do that. But next thing you know, it's like 7. You're like, man, I got to get the hell out of here, dog. I don't care how much money I'm making. I'm not going to sit here like this and repeat next Monday. And it's like we lost so much of our creative brotherness that, like, this being able to create, we want to entertain people. That's all that matters. Like, and that's what makes us smile. Like when we saw that, like, Talking Shop Mania 1 started trending and we started seeing the reactions, it was like, oh snap. Like now people are laughing at home. Like, and like, that's the kind of shit that we love. And that's what gives me chills thinking about it. I love when people laugh when we're doing shit. And that's what gets me going.
Well, you guys have entertained people worldwide. And I remember when you guys first left and came to Impact, there was talk of you working with New Japan Pro Wrestling again. I know they're back up and running. So when can we expect to see the Good Brothers back in New Japan?
Ask our little boss.
Yeah, when this world pops back open and we can start making these flights, like I got a sneaky feeling we're gonna be there a whole lot, because we've had some awesome talks about it, and like Rock talking about New Japan.
Yeah, I think, like you said, New Japan has just, they've really opened up. They're at about 30% capacity right now. And, the G1 3 days in a row in Budokan, having that amount of, they're really the only organization that's open that big right now, which is kind of cool. Obviously, they're taking as many precautions that they possibly can, having these events and everything. But still restrictions, like when it comes to travel, just to Japan as a country, are still tight. So there's still visas and certain things that have to be done. And as well, on top of that, there's still a 14-day quarantine that kind of makes it a little difficult, right? So I think within the next 4 months or so, we're going to probably start to see an ease in that quarantine period. So that may completely change the game. So hopefully it happens sooner than later. And, I can't wait to see these guys back in Japan as soon as possible, especially Wrestle Kingdom, just being right around the corner. You never know, hopefully, keep.
We hope.
Is there anybody you guys got your eyes on in terms of potential opponents?
Man, everything's so different there now. The landscape's different. The tag division, the singles division. I think we got to go back over and show them who the hell we are. Let them remember. Show them the new version. You know what I mean? It's time to take back over. So I think our eyes need to be set on everybody, just like when we came into Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, as good as you guys have been, and you guys have been incredible around the world, there's a big tag team match coming up this weekend. The Young Bucks-FTR. It's kind of like universally acknowledged. It's a match for the best tag team in the world, the 2 best tag teams in the world. Does that all piss you guys off? I know you're all friends, but does it all piss you off to hear that these are the 2 teams that are the best in the world, given how good you guys have been?
Well, I mean, we have the trophy, and I mean, we have multiple IWGP tag team titles. We have multiple WWE tag team titles. And after Saturday, November 14th at Turning Point on the Impact Plus app, when we defeat the North for the Impact Wrestling tag team titles, we'll be Triple Crown World Tag Team Champions. And yes, those are 4 of our best friends in the business, but I don't think any of the 4 can say that shit.
Hey, you know, opinions are all subjective, right? And we always – we know where we stand, and like if we can ever get a chance to cross promote or do whatever we need to do to get in there with them, have a 3-way with them, like, man, game changer.
Rocky, I think he's telling you to book that for New Japan. I mean, I don't want to.
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking, brother.
We're trying to,
you never
moves,
know.
baby.
New Japan could be that neutral territory for everybody to kind of
really could
cross paths. You actually never know, and especially with the business that could do and draw, in Japan and all over the world, really, on pay-per-view or world or Fight TV, wherever it might be. You never know. And it's a great time for professional wrestling fans. I think the pandemic has kind of opened up a space where, because, it's not really possible to promote big arenas right now, so like we have to be creative, right? So, and we really have to use our television, our, pay-per-view platforms, our streaming service platforms, smartly and wisely. So like, why can't, Impact wrestler come to a New Japan show, or a New Japan wrestler come to an Impact show? And we're going to see that even just coming up December 12th, when Chris Bay from Impact, representing Impact, comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling for the Super J Cup. Which is going to be amazing. And we also have a wrestler from Ring of Honor that's a part of that, in Ray Horace, and multiple New Japan stars, and Leo Rush, ACH, so TJP, who's also an Impact star, that cross paths. So I don't know. I think it's really an interesting time, and never say never. I think 2021, who knows what will happen? Who knows?
I think that'd be great. I just wanted to thank you guys. You guys are doing such a good thing, especially like Rocky was saying during the pandemic. I mean, there's been a lot of like cinematic matches that I feel try too hard to be good. But you guys, obviously your brand is not trying to be good at all, but I don't see very much bad with it. Like, it really entertains me. So keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. Anything else you guys wanted to plug before we get out of here?
Man, I just want to say you summed it up the best. This is a parody. It's the wrestling we all know and love. Laugh along with us. November the 13th, Talkin' Shop, Mania 2. All things Talkin' Shop, Good Brothers Rocky, tnsmania.com. You can find it there, from our alcohol brands to our upcoming live events, personal appearances, things of that nature. Follow our socials, please, at Azucar Rock, at Machine Gun KA, and at _Big LG. Thank you.
We're going to Jimmy's Seafood, Jimmy's Famous Seafood in Baltimore, Maryland, November 22nd at 6 p.m. on a Sunday. We're doing our first ever live Talkin' Shop. And what's that going to entail? Man, I don't know. Just being drunk.
Man.
Just being
all
drunk
your favorite. I know
Sex
Sex Ferguson will be there. I know Chico will be there. I know Too Bad will be there. I know Will be there. It's going to be a shit show. And there's a pay-per-view on after. We might watch that and bury it too. Who knows?
No cameras allowed, because, man, who knows the shit we be saying when we start getting flowing together. It's not good.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
That sounds great. Well, you guys, you have a great time. Thanks so much, and good luck with everything.
Hey,
thanks for having us, brother.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.